In English, we have pronouns. I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. If you put these pronouns on a chart, it looks pretty disorganized. A far cry from a language with a simple distinction between the three persons and singular and plural. But the majority of languages don't have pronoun systems that are this simple. So it's normal for English to be a bit disjointed. From languages that incorporate formality into their pronouns, to ones that have a dual or even trial number, there are a couple of things you can do with pronouns. Vietnamese takes this system of pronouns and turns the whole thing on its head. Vietnamese has two types of pronouns. One of these types are typical pronouns, like the word tôi, meaning I, the most common first-person singular pronoun. The usual word for you, the second-person singular, is bạn, which literally means friend. Aw, how sweet. Vietnamese has plenty more of these typical pronouns, but it also has kinship pronouns, which are words referring to members of your family used as pronouns. When someone is talking to their parents in Vietnamese, they can refer to themselves as con, which means child, and refer to their parents as mẹ, meaning mother, and bố, which is father. Parents likewise can use these pronouns when talking to their children, just using mẹ or bố to refer to themselves and con to their child. This works the same way for siblings. Older brothers refer to themselves as anh, older sisters use chị, and younger siblings of any gender use em. Keep in mind with kinship pronouns, Vietnamese doesn't distinguish between the first and second persons. So if you're talking to your older brother, for example, your pronoun is always em in the conversation, and his pronoun is always anh. Now, here's the real kicker. These pronouns of kinship terms can be used with absolutely anybody. The pronouns em, anh, and chị can be used with anyone in the same generation, someone around the same age, or in other words, old enough to be their sibling. Em is used for people of the same generation but that are younger, anh for people that are older and male, and chị for older females. If you don't know exactly how old someone is, you just guess their age and pray that you weren't born on the exact same date. For people old enough to be your aunt or uncle, you refer to them as, well, aunt and uncle. Bác, cô, chú, or cậu, depending on the context. For people old enough to be your grandparents, you call them either ba or ông, grandmother or grandfather. And people in the generations below yours are referred to as cháu, meaning grandchild, niece, or nephew, and is also used to refer to yourself when talking to people in the generations above you. The morpheme for cousin in Vietnamese, họ, is also used as a general third-person plural pronoun to mean they. So in this sense, everyone is considered family in Vietnamese, taking the phrase brother from another mother to a whole new level. Em and anh are also used between romantic couples, whether married or not. Sometimes the pronouns are dropped entirely and substituted by the name of whoever you're referring to, even in the second person, potentially adding to a total of 3 categories of pronouns in Vietnamese, although this is usually less formal than using the family pronouns, to the point of being taboo for people much older than you, and isn't really used in the first person when talking about yourself. And while they aren't pronouns in their own right, Vietnamese speakers do make use of professions and titles as forms of address more often than in other languages, like giáo sư, meaning professor, and bác sĩ, which is doctor. Believe it or not, Vietnamese's family pronouns are not much of an anomaly. In languages like Japanese, the words for aunt and uncle can be used to talk about middle-aged men and women, and the words for grandma and grandpa can be used to refer to seniors. This even happens in English in some cases, despite people not necessarily being your actual family. Also happening in less formal situations with brother and sister, as well as their shortened forms bro and sis. These cases of kinship terms aren't exactly pronouns, but in Korean, the words for siblings can actually be used as pronouns when talking to other siblings or to people around the same age as you. In Malay/Indonesian, the word saudara, meaning sibling, can be used to mean you, and Khmer joins Vietnamese in applying this to pretty much the entire family tree. As a result, Vietnamese has plenty of pronouns for people of all ages. This whole system may seem a bit cumbersome, but Vietnamese's normal pronouns aren't exactly simple and straightforward either. I only mentioned tôi and bạn, but there are plenty of other first and second person pronouns, which vary heavily in formality and from the specific dialect of Vietnamese being spoken. The main regular third person pronoun used is nó, which is pretty impolite when used to talk about people, and is best translated as it. These regular pronouns have a tendency to be either too formal and stiff, or too rude and aggressive. And while the kinship pronouns aren't exactly excluded from dialectal variation, The whole system seems more balanced, symmetrical, and elegant in comparison. They aren't exactly formal, but the family pronouns are used much more often in daily conversation to give a friendlier tone when speaking Vietnamese. After kinship pronouns started to be more widely used in the language, a few of them were derived to form new non-kinship pronouns, like anh and cô, which were derived to form anh ấy and cô ấy, direct translations of he and she. But no matter how many pronouns Vietnamese has, at least they're still easier to memorize than the provinces of Vietnam. If you enjoyed the video, then please like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time, ciao nhé!